Welcome to HD Coins World. Today, we're revealing 5 of the most expensive and highly valuable pennies you could have in your collection. We'll cover key features, rare errors, and how to spot these hidden treasures. Stay tuned, you might be holding a fortune in your pocket. Let's dive in. Number 1. Have you ever thought that a simple penny could be worth a fortune? Most people don't pay much attention to their pocket change, but coin collectors know that hidden treasures can be found in the most unexpected places. The 1967 Lincoln penny is one of those rare gems, and if you have the right one, you could be holding a coin worth thousands of dollars. At first glance, the 1967 Lincoln penny may seem like just another 1-cent coin. But there's more to it than meets the eye. This penny was struck in 95% copper and weighs 3.11 grams. Unlike other years, the 1967 penny does not have a mint mark because the U.S. Mint temporarily removed them between 1965 and 1967. This means all pennies from that year appear similar, but certain rare variations make some of them incredibly valuable. The real treasure lies in the mint errors and high-grade specimens that have captured the attention of collectors worldwide. One of the most sought-after errors in the 1967 penny is the doubled die obverse. This happens when the design on the die shifts slightly during production, causing a doubling effect on the coin's surface. If you look closely at the words, "In God We Trust, Liberty," or the date, you may see clear signs of doubling. Another valuable error is the off-center strike, where the coin is misaligned during striking, leaving part of the design missing. The greater the off-center shift, the more valuable the coin becomes. There are also rare examples of die cracks and cuds, raised, extra metal formations on the surface due to a damaged die. These errors make each coin unique, increasing its desirability among collectors. But why is the 1967 Lincoln penny so valuable? The answer lies in a combination of rarity, condition, and demand. The U.S. Mint produced millions of pennies in 1967, but only a small number have survived in pristine condition or with collectible errors. High-grade, uncirculated pennies with sharp details and original luster are extremely rare. When you add in a striking error like a doubled die or off-center strike, the value skyrockets. Collectors are always searching for rare varieties to complete their collections, and they're willing to pay a premium for well-preserved, unique specimens. If you're wondering how to spot one of these valuable 1967 pennies, the first step is to check your change. Look through old coin jars, bank rolls, or even inherited collections. You never know what you might find. Use a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe to examine the details of the coin, especially the lettering, date, and Lincoln's profile. If you notice any signs of doubling, off-center strikes, or raised metal from die cracks, you could be holding a rare and valuable penny. Compare your find to verified images online or consult a professional numismatist for further confirmation. Rare 1967 Lincoln pennies have already made headlines in auctions, with collectors willing to pay top dollar for well-preserved and error varieties. One of these exceptional pennies sold for an astonishing $62,000. That's right, one lucky collector walked away with a small fortune just by recognizing the hidden value of a penny. Have you ever come across a coin that looked different or unusual? Maybe an old penny with a strange mark or off-center design. Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your stories. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more rare coin discoveries. The next big find could be right in your pocket. Number 2. Could a simple 1971 penny be worth a fortune? Many people don't realize that certain pennies, especially those with rare errors, can be incredibly valuable to collectors. If you have a 1971 Lincoln cent, it's time to take a closer look because some of these coins have been sold for astonishing amounts. You might be holding a hidden treasure without even knowing it. The 1971 Lincoln penny was minted in Denver and carries the D mint mark beneath the date. It was struck in 95% copper and weighs 3.11 grams, just like other pennies from this era. The design features Abraham Lincoln's profile on the obverse, with the words, "In God We Trust." Above his head, Liberty, to the left, and the date to the right. On the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial is centered with the words, United States of America, and 1 cent, inscribed above and below. While millions of these pennies were produced, some rare errors and high-grade specimens have made certain pieces extremely valuable. One of the most well-known errors in the 1971 D penny is the doubled die obverse. This occurs when the coin's design is struck twice slightly out of alignment, creating a doubling effect on the lettering and details. If you closely examine the words, "In God We Trust," or "Liberty," you may notice distinct doubling, making your penny far more desirable to collectors. Another sought-after error is the off-center strike, where the coin's design is misaligned, leaving part of the surface blank. The more off-center the strike, the higher its value. Other valuable errors include die cracks, which appear as raised lines across the surface due to a worn-out die. Some 1971 D pennies also have repunched mint marks, where the D was stamped more than once, resulting in a slightly overlapping effect. These errors may seem small, but they significantly impact the value of a coin. So, why is the 1971 D penny so valuable? The combination of rarity, condition, and collector demand determines its worth. While millions were minted, only a handful have been preserved in uncirculated condition or discovered with major errors. High-grade coins with a bright, original luster can fetch impressive prices. When you add a rare mint error into the mix, collectors are willing to pay top dollar to add these unique pieces to their collections. If you want to find one of these rare pennies, start by searching through your change, old coin jars, or even rolls of pennies from the bank. Use a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe to closely examine the details. Pay attention to any signs of doubling, off-center strikes, or raised metal from die cracks. If you find a 1971 D penny that looks different from the rest, it's worth comparing it to verified examples online or consulting a numismatic expert for authentication. Once you've identified a valuable 1971 D penny, the next step is selling it. Rare coins can be sold on online marketplaces such as eBay, heritage auctions, or great collections, where serious collectors bid on high-value pieces. Before listing your coin, consider having it graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. A certified grade will increase the credibility of your coin and attract higher offers. When selling online, provide clear, high-quality photos and a detailed description highlighting any errors or unique features. One of these rare 1971 D pennies has already sold for an astonishing $53,000. That's right, something as small as a penny turned into a life-changing amount for its lucky owner. Have you ever come across a strange or unusual penny in your collection? Maybe a coin with a mint error or an odd feature? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your stories. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more rare coin discoveries. You never know when you might come across the next hidden treasure. Number 3. Today, we're talking about the 1981 D Lincoln penny, a coin that might seem ordinary but, in the right condition and with the right errors, could be incredibly valuable. Some of these rare pennies have already been auctioned for shocking amounts, and if you have one, you might be holding a fortune in your hands. The 1981 D penny was struck at the Denver Mint, as indicated by the small D mint mark below the date. It was made from 95% copper and 5% zinc, giving it a weight of 3.11 grams. This was one of the last years the U.S. Mint produced pennies in solid copper before switching to a zinc core in 1982. The obverse features the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner, with "In God We Trust" inscribed above, Liberty to the left, and the year to the right. On the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial is centered, with United States of America and 1 cent surrounding it. While millions of these coins were produced, certain rare variations and errors have turned some 1981 D pennies into highly valuable collectibles. One of the most sought-after errors in the 1981 D penny is the doubled die obverse. This happens when the design is struck twice in slight misalignment, creating a noticeable doubling effect on letters and numbers. If you closely examine the words "liberty" or "in God we trust," you might see clear signs of doubling, making your penny extremely desirable to collectors. Another valuable error is the off-center strike, where the coin's design is shifted away from the center, leaving part of the surface blank. Coins with a 50% off-center error or more are especially rare and can fetch high prices at auction. Other errors include die cracks, which appear as raised lines due to a damaged die. These can be found on Lincoln's head, the memorial building, or along the rim of the coin. Another important variety to look for is the repunched mint mark, where the D was stamped more than once, creating a slight overlap or shadow effect. These small details may seem insignificant, but they play a huge role in determining a penny's value. So, why is the 1981 penny so valuable? The answer comes down to rarity, condition, and collector demand. While millions of pennies were minted, very few have survived in pristine, uncirculated condition. Coins with bright luster, sharp details, and no visible wear are highly desirable. When combined with a major error, such as a doubled die or off-center strike, the value skyrockets. Collectors are always searching for unique pieces to add to their collections, making these rare pennies worth far more than just 1 cent. If you want to find one of these valuable 1981 pennies, start by checking your loose change, old coin collections, or even rolls of pennies from the bank. Use a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe to inspect the coin's details. Look for doubling in the letters, misaligned strikes, or raised lines indicating a die crack. If your penny shows any of these characteristics, compare it to verified examples online or consult a professional numismatist to confirm its rarity. Once you've identified a valuable penny, the next step is selling it. Online marketplaces like eBay, heritage auctions, and great collections are great platforms for rare coin sales. Before listing, consider getting your penny graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. A certified grade not only confirms the coin's authenticity but also increases its market value. High-quality images, a detailed description, and proper certification can help attract serious buyers willing to pay top dollar for rare finds. One of these rare 1981 pennies has already sold for an astonishing $47,000. That's right. Something as small as a penny turned into a life-changing amount for a lucky collector. Have you ever found a coin with an unusual mark, an error, or something that just looked different? Maybe a misprinted penny or a coin that stood out from the rest? Share your stories in the comments. I'd love to hear about your discoveries. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more incredible coin finds. The next big treasure might just be waiting in your pocket. Number 4. Today, we'll explore what makes this penny special, the rare errors that increase its worth, and how you can spot one that could bring you thousands of dollars. The 1966 Lincoln penny was struck without a mint mark because, during this time, the U.S. Mint temporarily stopped using mint marks to discourage collectors from hoarding coins. This penny was made from 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, weighing 3.11 grams. On the obverse, you'll find the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, with "In God We Trust" inscribed above, Liberty to the left, and the year 1966 to the right. The reverse features the Lincoln Memorial, with United States of America and 1 cent inscribed around it. While millions of these pennies were minted, only a few rare ones stand out due to their unique characteristics and errors. One of the most valuable errors in the 1966 Lincoln penny is the doubled die obverse. This occurs when the design is struck twice slightly out of alignment, creating noticeable doubling in the letters and numbers. If you closely inspect the words, "In God We Trust," or "Liberty," you might see clear signs of doubling, making your coin significantly more valuable. Another rare error to watch for is the off-center strike, where the design is misaligned, leaving part of the coin blank. The more off-center the strike, the rarer the penny becomes. Other sought-after errors include die cracks, which appear as raised lines across the surface due to a damaged die. Some 1966 pennies also have a misaligned die, where one side of the coin is slightly rotated compared to the other. Additionally, some collectors have found coins with weak or missing letters due to grease-filled dies, making these pieces even more unique. What makes the 1966 penny so valuable is the combination of rarity, condition, and collector demand. While millions were produced, very few high-grade specimens exist today, as most circulated heavily over the years. A penny that has been well preserved with a sharp strike, original luster, and minimal wear can fetch impressive prices at auction. When combined with a major error, the value skyrockets, as collectors are always on the lookout for unique variations to add to their collections. If you want to find a valuable 1966 Lincoln penny, start by checking your old coin jars, collections, or rolls of pennies from the bank. Use a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe to closely examine the letters, numbers, and edges of the coin. Look for doubling, off-center strikes, cracks, or any unusual features that set your penny apart. If you believe you have a rare variety, compare it to verified examples online or consult a professional numismatist for authentication. Once you've identified a valuable 1966 penny, the next step is selling it. Rare coins can be sold on online marketplaces like eBay, heritage auctions, or Great Collections, where serious collectors place bids for rare pieces. Before listing your coin, consider having it graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. A certified grade not only confirms the coin's authenticity but also increases its market value. When selling online, provide clear, high-resolution images and a detailed description highlighting any errors or unique features. One of these rare 1966 pennies has already sold for an incredible $57,000. That's right. Something as small as a penny turned into a life-changing amount for its lucky owner. Have you ever come across a penny that looked unusual or had a strange marking? Maybe an old coin with an error you didn't recognize? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your stories. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more rare coin discoveries. You never know when you might find a hidden treasure in your own pocket change. Number 5. Have you ever wondered if a simple penny in your pocket could be worth a small fortune? Most people pass over pennies without a second thought, but there are rare and valuable ones hidden in plain sight. The 1980 Lincoln penny is one such treasure, and if you happen to find the right one, you could be looking at a life-changing payday. Today, we'll dive into the key features of this penny, the rare errors that make it incredibly valuable, and how you can identify one that could be worth thousands of dollars. The 1980 Lincoln penny was struck at 3 different mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. If you have a 1980 penny with a D mint mark, it was minted in Denver, while an S indicates it was made in San Francisco. However, the Philadelphia minted pennies do not have a mint mark. This coin is made of 95% copper and 5% zinc and tin, weighing approximately 3.11 grams. The obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner, features Abraham Lincoln's profile with the inscriptions, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the year 1980. The reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo, showcases the Lincoln Memorial, with the words, "United States of America," and 1 cent around it. While billions of these pennies were minted, only a handful are considered extremely valuable due to rare errors. One of the most sought-after errors is the doubled die obverse, where the inscriptions and date appear slightly doubled due to a misalignment during the minting process. This error can be spotted by closely examining the words, "Liberty," and "In God We Trust," for any signs of doubling. Another major error to look for is the off-center strike, where part of the design is missing because the planchet was not properly aligned when struck. The more off-center the design, the more valuable the penny becomes. Other notable errors include die cracks, which create raised lines or ridges on the surface due to a worn-out die. Some pennies also have a missing or weakly struck mint mark, which can make them unique and highly desirable among collectors. One of the rarest finds is the broad strike error, where the coin is struck without a defined rim, giving it a flattened appearance. If you come across a penny with any of these errors, you might have something special on your hands, What makes the 1980 penny so valuable is the combination of rarity, condition, and collector demand. While millions were produced, very few high-grade examples remain in pristine condition today. Most pennies from this time period have been in circulation for decades, accumulating wear and losing their original luster. However, if you find one in mint or near mint condition, its value increases dramatically. And when combined with a rare error, the price can skyrocket even further. If you want to check if you have a valuable 1980 penny, start by carefully examining any old coins you have in your collection or change jar. Use a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe to look for doubling, cracks, or missing details. Compare your coin to certified error examples online to see if it matches any of the known varieties. It's also a good idea to weigh the coin, as some errors involve incorrect planchet compositions that can change the weight. Once you've identified a potentially rare 1980 penny, you might be wondering how to sell it for the best price. The best way to sell a rare coin is through reputable online marketplaces like eBay, heritage auctions, or Great Collections, where collectors and investors actively bid on valuable pieces. Before listing your coin, consider getting it graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. A certified grade will authenticate its rarity and help you get the highest possible value. When selling, take high-quality photos and provide a clear description highlighting any errors or unique features. One of these rare 1980 pennies has already sold for an astonishing $48,000. That's right, a simple penny, once thought to be worth just 1 cent, turned into a life-changing amount for its lucky owner. Have you ever found a penny that looked different or unusual? Maybe you have a rare coin sitting in your collection without even realizing it. Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your stories. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more rare coin discoveries. You never know when you might come across a hidden treasure in your own pocket change.